episode of Purgatory where Crazy just runs up to me and slaps me in the face. You might notice that things look a little different and they might look a little ad hoc even. I'm sort of experimenting because I've got a new room and it's kind of hard. I can't really achieve my old setup the same way. So I'm going to be experimenting for a while. Volume control is very important because I'm wall to wall now, so I don't want to be shouting or doing anything too weird too often. Might be able to do it once or twice at certain times of the day, but I don't want to be doing what I used to do too much, because if I am, it's going to disturb people, and I genuinely don't want that. I think that's not fair on anybody. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this episode like this, and future projects might not look anything like this. It depends on the feedback and if I look back on it and go, ugh, or not. So in this episode of Purgatory, we're going to be visiting a video that Jared Wars made in the summer. What is Jared Wars? Okay, I'm going to try to sum it up in what is basically a tweet. Fuck me, here we go.
Jared Wars is a long-standing internet weirdo, troll and stalker. His interests have drifted from person to person, his greatest fixation being Gorgeous George, local access television star, and Alpha Genesis, a streamer, troll, and pursuer of underage girls. He is a man who has proven on numerous occasions to be mentally unstable, calling someone's home phone multiple times a day, going through people's personal social media and sending them videos of him doing so to weird people out, sending porn to acquaintances and talking in uncomfortable detail as to how much he likes the women on display, doing satanic rituals directed at a man who was actually worried about his odd behaviour and wanting to contact the authorities for his well-being. He called StooDogg a fucked up person with fucked up friends involved in fucked up things, and has threatened to kill himself and others in his Doug Ratman-esque rant streams. Woo, summed him up in 153 words. Best I could anyway.
Given that Jared Wars has attacked several friends of mine, going as far as to harass them, and has even been a complete dick to several others of them, I think that he's a fascinating, vitriolic little demon, and I'd like to cover one of his videos. So I thought I'd pick the one that struck out to me the most, called Women Are the Worst in Society. Yeah, YouTube's still butthurt about that time that I made the video making fun of Andy's homophobia, so I'm no longer giving them the benefit of the doubt that when I say something bad, that they won't think it's me saying something bad. It's, they don't understand quotation or parody, so quite honestly, I am not giving them the chance. I'm going to treat them as if they're a little child who don't know any better.
Now, one thing that's kind of worth knowing going in is that Jared Wars doesn't do videos like any competent person would. Instead, he rolls his mic, live streaming like a radio broadcast, with nothing but a black screen for visuals. His videos are unscripted, unedited, unfiltered, and disorganized as fuck, and some of them have even been known to last for hours. Sometimes they can be a quarter or even half a day's length. As a result, I don't watch much of his content, simply because I can't stand it. I have offered him advice and criticism in a rather friendly manner, and he's more or less ignored it and carried on the way he is, but seemingly took it well at the time. His videos are basically fuck awful, and that's ignoring the stuff that he can't help, like his voice grating on me.
God damn, your voice is like nails on a chalkboard.
Hey, man!
Oh, hell no.
Welcome to another Jared Wars Piss4400 corporate company.
This is how Jared Wars introduces all of his videos, and it's a bit of an enigma to me because no such company exists. At all, as far as I can tell. Shocking that a company called Piss4400, corporate company, doesn't exist, but that's what I'm laying out on the table.
I wanted to get some things fixed up here. Why are females the worst human beings to deal with regarding any kind of communication or selling.
I have actually spoken to Jared Wars in several instances, and I can confirm that he is harder to speak to than any woman I've ever met. So there's that. But there's also the fact that women tend to have an affinity for buying and selling items. It's almost a stereotype, but no, there are a lot of women businessmen and There are a lot of women in business, and there are a lot of women shopkeepers, there are a lot of women who buy things. But let's not let reality get in the way of things here, people. Let's just pretend this is Planet Jared Wars where nothing works like it does on Earth.
Every time I had a female seller or a female buyer, they were always rude to me and talked to me any kind of way.
Okay, so we have two variables here. Jared Wars, and about, I don't know, let's say 6 women. It couldn't possibly be the former, must be the latter. 6 individuals are all the problem, not the one individual who is the center of the problem. Idiot.
I don't know what the fuck they come from. And the only thing I do is try to be nice. And whenever people talk to me any kind of way, I talk to them any kind of way.
So, you basically are nice up until the point you don't feel you're being appreciated enough. Then, you basically start calling people, slurring at them, and basically swearing at them and being really angry and vitriolic for virtually no reason. I have actually bore witness to a situation in which Jeremy was basically insulted because somebody misread part of the chat, and he immediately went on to the "oh you bitch, shut up" thing, which was a misunderstanding on the other person's part, but had Jeremy been level-headed enough to say, "I think you've made a mistake there," or asked, why are you angry at me, or something like that, what have I done? And then he could have explained that that person made a mistake, but he didn't. Instead, what Jeremy did was he just went on a goddamn rant about how this woman's a bitch. But here he is presenting himself as the calm, kind, nice person who everyone misunderstands.
But I don't go as far as they go exactly the same. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, why in the fuck am I dealing with these female people?
Female people. I swear, the way this guy talks sometimes, it's like he's an alien or something. I do find it kind of interesting, though. The way that he talks during this part is rather, like, he's talking rather slowly. Like, he's considering everything he says before he says it. Kind of like he's coming up with a fabrication and doesn't want to be caught out. This is just an inference on my part, I'm not accusing him of anything, but the way that he is telling this story sounds to me like he's making bits of it up, or he's making the whole thing up. For all I know, I mean, I don't even know if this woman exists, if this situation exists, but what I do know is that listening to Jeremy talk here, he is planning each bit of the story to make sure that he doesn't trip himself up and get exposed. At least that's the impression I get.
Like, every time I deal with a female buyer on eBay, it's always a problem. I dealt with a female buyer on Craigslist, it was an issue. Like, fuck you, bitch.
Again, it could very well be you. Given the track record, that is most likely the case, that you are the problem and not the women here.
You know, seriously, I shouldn't have to go through this motherfucker.
Just stop being a dick to people and maybe you won't have to go through this motherfucker. It's just a suggestion, but I think it's probably one you should actually take up.
And I asked, like, the person complained about the Lexan body that I sent them being bent on a website, and I tells them, I says, look, this is the best I can do as far as packing, and I asked them to let me know if there was any problems. They come emailing me today and they say, well, I'm not sure why you keep writing. I said it's because you claim you came to me with a problem, and it's my responsibility as a seller to work this out and to fix the problem. I'm not just going to sit there and let my customers hanging, I tell the bitch.
I do really love his Jekyll and Hyde approach to business. Like, he cares a lot about his customers, cares about them getting good products, cares about their product lifespan, and cares about everything to do with his side of the business. But he's also liable to call them a bitch.
It's like, here at Piss4400 Corporate Company, we pride ourselves on giving our customers the best products with the longest lifespan, with the best delivery times in the best packaging possible. It is no less than our customers deserve, the absolute skanks.
Hello. Now, would you like your conversation still or sparkling?
Sparkling, please.
Certainly, sir. There you go. You can stick your teeth in there a little bit later on because the soup is well claggy like. You little twat.
Imagine if in the real world, sellers were like Jared was, and like every time you bought anything from them, they'd email you and be like, hey, how was our product? How did you like it? And like when you bought toilet paper or condoms, just imagine the nightmare you'd have just coming home at the end of the day and just finding all these probing questions about how it goes. Like, Jesus Christ.
And I wanted to say something else. I wanted to tell her that I do better with male sellers than I do with females, but I didn't want to get in trouble on eBay because then, you get personal with these people, you actually get in trouble,
Oh gee, I wonder why. Seriously, she's buying a friggin' toy off of you. She's not goddamn hiring you as an escort. She doesn't need to know your life story. If she did, she'd probably subscribe to your channel.
But I'm not kidding. If she contacts me back, she got nerve to ask me why I emailed. I only emailed her like, what is it, twice, and then this is the third email I sent. As far as just, I was more than humble to this bitch.
I was more than humble to that bitch. Jared Wars, 2020.
Why are you emailing her? Quite honestly, I think she has every right to be frustrated at the fact that the random weirdo she bought a toy from is constantly harassing her over emails. She has every right to be frustrated at best and terrified at worst. You know that, like, people break that kind of trust that a buyer and seller has to perv on women. There was a case with the COVID-19 registry thing where basically a woman went into a restaurant, put her contact details in the book as was requested, and then a waiter copied them down and used them to basically start sending her pervy text messages trying to hit on her. And honestly, given your track record with women, I personally don't think that she is in the wrong for questioning why you're contacting her and being concerned that this man that she bought an object from on eBay is now worming his way into her email inbox, asking her constant questions about shit. Just leave the poor woman alone.
And the fact that she the one that came and talked to me any kind of way, and whenever there's a problem, you always approach it with a non-hostility whatsoever.
Yeah, like you, for instance, when you basically had a bit of a rough experience with a customer and proceeded to call her a bitch. I'll have to take some notes actually about, how to deal with situations according to you. A very peaceful solution, that is. By the way, if this video isn't enough for some people, to prove that this guy is a complete hypocrite when he says that. Once, at one point, a friend of mine, StooDogg, went to his stream to ask him about certain things that have been brought up recently. And Jared Wars' response was to basically just start insulting him, screaming at him, and throwing a load of sweary Marys his way before permanently blocking him off the channel. So yeah, this isn't a fluke or anything. He's done this a lot.
And, you know, some people just don't care. And, I mean, oh my God.
You know, Jared Wars once called me the honest man because I said that I didn't care about his problems. And for the record, I didn't say that. I said that I didn't care about his problems as justification for him harassing and stalking one of my friends. Which is a bit different to me just flat out saying that I don't care about someone's problems, but let's not let reality get in the way of a good nickname, shall we?
I don't want to. I think I'm gonna block this bitch. I don't want that bitch on here.
I do really love how at the start of this video he was all like, oh, well if she responds with this, I'm gonna block her. And then, like, less than 2 minutes later, he's just like, you know what, fuck this bitch, I'm gonna block her. Because he just flip-flops from stance to stance because he's a clueless idiot who has no idea what he's doing. StooDogg reckons he's an alcoholic, I just think he's an idiot.
What is it with the females that are so complex bitches? I've been trying to figure this out for about 5 years, and it's like, I can't seem to get it.
That's funny because from my experience, women are typically easier to get along with than men. For me personally. I mean, it's only like 60-40, but from my personal experience, I've had an easier time befriending women than I have men. But in all honesty, I don't think a gender dictates whether or not you are easy or difficult to talk to. I think this is purely a you thing.
I don't know what nationality that person is, but they have to be, I don't know. Let's see. Give me a second here.
And here we have Jared Wars attempting to insult an entire nation as well as 40% of the planet. But then he thinks better of it. Not better of insulting the entire nation, but better of just guessing what nation that person's from. So what he proceeds to do, to be the better man, is he violates that person's trust to go digging into their personal information to find out what country they're from so he can insult it. It's like every time he tries to do something better, he ends up just doing it worse.
Give me a second, folks.
What? You what? Right, so Jared Wars, the subject of this reaction video, has left. He has left the building and left me with literally nothing but a black screen and no audio to react to. I guess I'm just gonna have to train my mind for if he comes back.
Hey, StooDogg, come to my channel, we can talk things out. Oh, okay, laddie, I'm gonna come over to your channel and you fucking bastard. Yeah. Why don't anybody like me? Why won't anyone just come here and talk things out? I don't get it.
I had to do something private.
That was nearly 2 minutes, kiddies. 1 minute and 54 seconds of literal nothing. You know, as someone who's made content for about 5 years and has put in hours and hours worth of effort into everything he's made for this channel, constantly fretting about the idea of, oh no, this video is like 52 minutes long, is it too long, am I wasting my audience's time, is there something that I could do that could improve, and you know, have I made a bad episode, am I completely wasting people's time with this section or this whole episode even. I'm quite anxious when I make this stuff. Not really anxious, but a bit anxious. Because I genuinely care about what I put out and how good it is and whether or not I put the effort in to actually entertain people, which is the whole point. So when people do shit like this, when people like Jeremy and Sagittarius Shorty just walk away, leave the camera running, and just expect their audience to watch that, I get genuinely pissed off. The first rule about any of this is respect your goddamn audience's goddamn time.
Who the hell is Uncle? Who's Uncle Cyrus?
Who is Uncle Cyrus? Or Cyrus? Or Silas? Who is he? For those of you who don't know, that's Jared Wars' mother, fan-dubbed the War Mum. And she occasionally cameos in his videos, in quotations, to basically just shout at him for swearing too much. Oh god. But in this video, she actually offers a few pearls of wisdom and insight into Jeremy's situation. I just really wish she wouldn't.
Your grandmother's brother.
Okay.
He's nice too, he's sweetheart.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna block this bitch.
Well, it's nice to know a bit about the family tree that Jared Wars fell out of. I do love as well though, he went away to find out that woman's nationality, and then he completely forgot about all of that, and then just comes back and is like, I'm gonna block this bitch. Like, he can't hold a thought for longer than 30 seconds, I swear to Christ.
Cause I don't like the way she talked to me. I mean, seriously, she was very insensitive.
Yeah, insensitive, like, I don't know, commenting on people's parenting abilities when you're a single, childless, 30-year-old man who still lives with his mother. That kind of insensitive. Oh, and just to put it out there, make it fundamentally clear, that is something that Jared Wars has done on multiple occasions. Getting quite personal as he does it.
And I can't stand people like that.
Oh wow, how tragic. He's his own worst enemy.
I've had so much experience with these cunts, it's not even motherfucking funny, y'all.
I deal with so many cunts getting mad at me for sending unsolicited messages. They ain't funny, y'all.
How do you block this bitch?
I believe it's the button just left of the escape key on your keyboard.
Let's see. Block bidders list. Let's see here. I want to block this bitch.
Great. Now we just have to wait for fucking Jared Wars to figure out how to use eBay. Don't worry, I won't subject you to that.
Because I'm so angry. Let's see. I packs this item and I sends it to this lady. She was rude to me because the item was bent. And so I tells her that I packed it as best I can and that just let it sit for a few days. It should flex itself back. And I emails her asking her, is the item okay? She wasn't responding. And then when she responded today, she's like, I'm not sure why you keep emailing me. And I tells the woman, I says, look, it's my responsibility to make sure that everything's okay with my customers. You're the one that came to me very rude, and I haven't done nothing but being nice and doing as best I can to help you, you know?
Okay. 1. You sold her a damaged item. 2. She contacted you and asked you about the damaged item. You explained yourself and gave her a solution. You told her to wait a few days and then contact her if anything was still wrong. Which leads me to believe that either she has had the item reset like you suggested it would, or that it's still broken and she doesn't want to deal with you anymore because she thinks you're a bad seller and doesn't want anything further to do with you. Which is fair enough if you sent somebody a broken item. It's not exactly fair on a cosmic level, but from their perspective, I don't blame them for not wanting to deal with you any longer. And 3, you asked her to contact you if anything was amiss. So basically, you shouldn't be contacting her. End of story. That's on her now. You've put the ball in her court. You don't run over to her court and steal it and bring it back.
But don't worry about her.
Every time I deal with a female buyer or a female seller, I always have problems. What is it with these females?
Sound like they're stupid.
I did like if I deal.
PMS.
Yeah, it is PMS. Of course it's PMS. Because we all know that if you send unsolicited messages to a woman at any time of the month prior to that, she's totally cool with it. It's just during that 1 week that she'll turn into a rancid person. You know, if you actually hear a Jared Wars story and that's what you take away from it, that's what you think is the problem, you're delusional. As delusional as he is.
Listen, every time I deal with a female on eBay, it's a problem. Why?
She probably had PMS, Jeremy.
I started to tell her, which I would have gotten in trouble, but I started to tell her that I do better with I do better with male customers. But you know that she would have reported me to eBay for saying that.
She got PMS.
You can't say nothing like that on eBay. eBay would report you. But I want to block this woman. I can't stand people like that.
Okay, look, I know that a lot of parents kind of take their kids' side. Even when they're wrong, they do on some level protect their kids and do try to get them out of the situation and whatever else. Like, I get that. But she isn't really investigating enough into this before commenting. At all. So he's telling her half a story and she must know that that's what he's doing, but she seemingly doesn't seem to care enough to grill him about this. And quite honestly, like, I wish she would, because in all honesty, the few times where she has fully understood the situation and has provided her view on it, she's actually given him some wisdom and has helped him come to the conclusion as to what he's doing wrong. And I get that he must come to her like 10 times a day with these kinds of issues, and she must be exhausted from it and can't be bothered with it all. But I really wish the war mum was capable of just being able to say that he's wrong and why he's wrong, because he'll listen to her a bit more than he'll listen to the rest of us. And at least he won't have an excuse then.
No, she just doesn't care. Some people just don't give a fuck, basically. Excuse my language.
Some people don't give a fuck about RC cars. Funny that.
I'm so sick of them. The way they talk to me in a kind of way. I'm sick of them motherfuckers. God damn. I mean, if that one was next to me, I would have probably punched her.
Is that another one of your non-aggressive solutions to your problems, Jared Wars?
I'm not violent, but I get sick of so much motherfucking foolishness, motherfucker.
You see, I on the other hand am violent,
And I too tire of this motherfucking foolishness from this motherfucker.
I wish women didn't exist.
No, you can't do that. Then we'd lose swimming. Where would we be without that masterpiece of television?
Just to clarify, I actually don't think I could live in a world without women because the vast majority of the songs on my phone are performed, written, or basically they have something to do with women. Like, a lot of my favourite artists are women. A lot of my favourite singers and musicians or whatever are women. And I have a few favourite women actors and stuff, so I don't know how I'd function in a world without women.
I wish I was a
I had to cut out a homophobic slur here because Jared Wars was wishing that he was gay, but using a homophobic slur in placement of the word gay. All I can say to that is, Jared Wars, gay people don't want you either. Okay? Gay people just don't want you either.
Anyway, I shouldn't be saying that shit, but whatever.
No, Jared Wars, you shouldn't be saying that shit. You shouldn't be saying any of that shit. But you did. And that's why I'm here.
Stupid bitch. Make me angry.
Stupid woman!
Why people are so motherfucking insensitive, motherfucker, you know?
Say it's Jared Wars, less than 30 seconds after wishing the entire eradication of women everywhere, and then going on a homophobic tangent. Right, okay, so I cut out about 30 or so seconds here, because it is just the same shit reiterated again. I swear to Christ, you could cut out 80% of his video every time he repeats himself, and you would only have about 20% of it would be fresh content. The rest is just the same points reiterated, him complaining, irrelevant shite. Like, it's unreal. It really is. It's just something that you wouldn't do if you cared about your audience.
Motherfucking ass fucks, you can't get along with them. Oh, sorry about that. I'm just angry.
Jared was fucking getting yelled at by his mum, telling him to stop swearing. Never gets old.
Oh my lord. No wonder why domestic violence no wonder domestic violence is popular in the relationships with a man and a woman, because of bitches like that, in my mind.
And that is where shit stops being funny to me. I personally have several friends who have been victims of domestic violence and domestic abuse. One of them has trouble remembering certain events in her life because of multiple head injuries suffered during times with an abusive partner. Another one described herself as being kicked so hard in the stomach that she felt it in her spine and wasn't able to walk for like 3 or 4 days afterwards. And both of them actually have been harassed, threatened, and various other things by the partners who beat them for years after. They can't get away from them no matter what they do. They've moved away, they have their own place, but they still get the odd text message from them, they still get phone calls from them, they still get them turning up at their front door. And honestly, I don't know what anyone could do to justify that. I don't know what anyone could say or do, but I know for a fact that it is not fucking not being 100% happy with a seller on eBay because they sent you a broken item. I'm not a stiff when it comes to this sort of stuff. When people make jokes about this sort of thing, I'm not one of those people who goes, oh, you can't make jokes about that, it's offensive. Like, even if I think it's in distaste, you know, everyone makes jokes about everything, fine, whatever. But this isn't a joke. This is a genuine point that he's making. He's making the point
that domestic abuse victims deserve it because they likely have said or done something wrong. But here's the thing, right? Unless you're Seth fucking MacFarlane with his Screams in Silence episode of Family Guy, most people understand that an abuse victim is a victim of a psychopath who is prone to violence. Someone once said that, I can't remember who it was, I remember Gage the Doom guy repeating this at one point, but he said, and quoting somebody else I'm guessing, that love is giving someone the ability to destroy you and hoping that they don't do it. And this is the worst way that a person can destroy you. And you think it's justified because a person was slightly rude to a seller who sold them a broken item and continued to harass them afterwards. You are a fucking piece of shit, Jeremy. Fuck off.
No wonder there's a lot of manslaughters. I see why. Because you get bitches like her that'll get you mad enough where you do something that you regret, you know? Like killing a motherfucker.
The fact that you think that this woman deserves to be domestically abused for having one altercation with you on eBay says more about you than 1,000 of these shit streams ever could. You disgusting degenerate.
You know, people get you angry like that, y'all.
Oh, I know. I know all too well.
And then you got all these people that go to jail when really they're in there for circumstances that they were provoked, you know?
Regardless of the abused's actions, being violently assaulted by someone who you love and trust is probably one of, if not the worst thing that can happen to you. And I don't think that can really be justified. The only situation where I'd say it gets kind of grey is when both members of the couple give as good as they get and they're both violent and they're both psychotic to each other. But the solution to that is not a murder weapon. It's either counselling or a divorce.
Of course, they were wrong, but again, the real bad guys are the ones that everybody's putting balloons up and saying, oh, poor this. She died under the hands of her husband. Really, she was a bitch when she was alive and her husband got tired of it.
I'm sure they wouldn't behave this way to their husbands, though, because their husbands won't be sending them unsolicited emails over the course of the week.
And one day she got on her nerves and killed the fuck. It killed the fuck out of her. Jesus. A lot of domestic violence going on. That is why I said in my mind, I said this. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my recorder. I'm saying in my mind that when I marry a bitch, I am not just going to marry any kind of bitch. I really don't.
You aren't going to marry anyone at this rate, Jared Wars, because this recording exists of you saying that if they'd be too rude to you or didn't respect you enough, you'd beat them. Or at least you'd think it would be okay to beat them. Bear in mind as well, Jared Wars is on record as to having said that he would slit his own mother's throat, as well as his own. So I refuse to believe that that would not extend to a spouse. No woman, bitch or otherwise, as you describe them, is ever going to lower themselves to you.
I want to marry a proper bitch. Now I don't want nobody that's serving me and saying, "You Majesty, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Go get run over by a bus." I don't like that bitch. And I certainly don't want bitches like that one buyer on eBay that I just dealt with.
You know, I would invoke the quote, beggars can't be choosers, but there's a much more relevant quote from Manny the Mammoth from Ice Age. If you find a mate in life, you should be loyal. In your case,
Grateful. Now get away from me.
You can really take a soldering iron and ram it up your pussy and burn your clitoris off too.
I imagine that would be far more pleasurable than sex with Jared was.
Like they do in Islam, motherfucker.
No, honey. Jeremy, no. Just stop. Just stop, honey. Just stop.
Burn your clit off, bitch. It's crazy, folks. It's like goddamn motherfucker crazy.
No, what's crazy is that you've been saying this ill-informed, offensive shit for over 10 minutes now, and you've not stopped talking. So here Jared Wars is so busy ranting that he doesn't even notice that his mother's talking to him, and when she doesn't want to repeat herself 5 times in a row, he gets upset and grumpy.
What? Say that again? What'd you say? I want you to tell me. I didn't hear you. I was interested. Don't be that way. You're just like the rest of them.
Well, I guess the war mum isn't going to be spared Jared Wars' Thanos snap. Actually, to be honest, I think if he actually had the Infinity Gauntlet and could snap anything out of existence, he'd snap himself. And only himself. Because he has expressed numerous times that he wants to just cease to exist. Quite honestly, after this video, I kind of see where he's coming from.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
Why are men more settled?
As someone who has dealt with at least one man in his life, and as a man myself, I can confirm that most men are about as subtle as a clown with their cock out.
Maybe I could be a or something. Rub dongs with somebody.
You are not rubbing mine, mister.
You think that, like, getting butt raped in prison would have been the best thing that happened to me, or get sodomized by some guy?
The likelihood is that they probably wouldn't have targeted you because the idea of you screaming and crying actually gives me nightmares. I've actually woke up screaming in my bed at the thought of just having you in front of me screaming and crying like a weirdo. Whatever gratification doing that to you would give me wouldn't be worth it. And I'm pretty sure most people would say the same.
Or maybe my dad. Of course, my dad couldn't sodomize me because he never was around, but, you know.
I do not know what kind of man your father was, and I don't think I want to know. I mean, did he talk about doing this to you often, or?
I'm trying to talk like my dad, George. Spirit, my internet dad.
Oh, he's talking about gorgeous George. That's weird. You might not want to be gay with him, though, because by your own words, you harassing him over the phone is grounds for him being able to morally justify killing you. So you might not want to be gay with him.
Daddy's home. Your daddy's home. Let's play that song. Daddy's home. Your daddy's home song. Let's see. Daddy's home song. Yeah, your daddy's home. Daddy's home. Yeah. Your daddy's home.
Alright, so as much as I want to play Jared Wars singing really badly, proving that he's nuttier than candy bar shit, I can't really because I'm gonna get flagged to fuck with copyright, but I can play the end.
Wow, 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 wow.
Awful. Just awful.
Okay.
New Super Polygrip Cushion and
Anyway,
Comfort.
females are the worst bitches you can ever deal with in this society
I can definitely say that you're worse.
and on eBay and on any platform.
Not on YouTube. You win that prestigious award for this god-awful video.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a loser just like Gorgeous George, and I've just provided you some information to better help you. And if it led up to me, if I didn't know about God, I probably would have rubbed dongs with a dog or something, like Andrew. Goodbye.
The end. And I almost got through the whole thing without Andrew being brought up. Well, that was Jared Wars Talking Shit, the movie. I normally would round this off with some sort of conclusion, but to tell you the truth, I don't know how to conclude this one. I mean, does Jared Wars have anything for me to conclude with?
Don't you have common sense to understand what the fuck I'm saying?
No, Jared Wars. I'm going to become real.
Welche Markierung ich habe abgestrichen.